Typographers. This is Rebecca, and I'm going to be going over your Assignment 3 project. This is in the studio, and you're going to create designs for two types of music media from your genre's era. So the assignment scope, you're going to be using the research that you've collected so far, any ideas and info that you came up with during your brainstorming and mind map exercises, along with the personas that you created, and the mood board you created, and your graphics standard sheet, plus the specs that I've included in the downloadable templates in the reading this week. And you're going to create designs for the packaging and labeling of a 12-inch gatefold vinyl LP. And then you get to choose from your genre specifically, either doing an 8-track, a 9-inch vinyl, that should be a 7-inch, a 7-inch vinyl single, and a cassette or a CD. So you'll present your creations as flat JPEGs, printer-ready PDFs, and mock-ups. You'll create your graphic headings and any vector graphics in Illustrator. You can edit, manipulate photos in Photoshop, any kind of collaging you'd like to do. You're going to create your mock-ups in Photoshop as well. And then you're going to lay out your final designs in InDesign, including the bulk of your copy, which means your body copy, like your lyrics, your production info, etc., all the small stuff that you're not going to do in Illustrator. Please do not lay out lyrics and a huge amount of text in Illustrator. Your assignment must be uploaded by the due date, and you will present your pieces in our next mandatory WebEx meeting and critique. So here's the requirement checklist. Your presentation is no longer than 4 minutes. It includes a design for the cover, the packaging of the 12-inch gatefold record, the lyrics on either a paper sleeve or a separate insert, and labels for both the A and B sides of your vinyl album. Typo, I'll get that. It includes a design for one of the other music mediums and includes a design for the packaging. So that's whatever the music media itself gets slipped into. A clever solution for displaying lyrics, and the label for the product itself. So designs incorporate the record studio logos and the production information. This production information can be placeholder text. That's totally okay with me. You're going to include a mock-up of each medium. That can either be where you print it out and build it yourself. So if you're creating a CD and you have a clear CD, shell case, then you can print it out yourself. Any die cutting that you'd like to do, I'd love to see you fold it up, in a clever way or whatever, and then stick it into that and take nice photos of it on a clean background. You can do it that way, or you can use, flat images that you then place your design into, and you use like free transform or warp to get it to look like, perspective warp, so that it looks like it's placed in the actual photo itself. So either way is fine with me. I just want to be able to see all of what you created. So you're gonna, let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, you're gonna include the band name, the album name, the song titles, and the lyrics. You're gonna include a JPEG of the front and back cover art for both mediums. You're gonna include a JPEG of the lyrics for both mediums. You're gonna include a JPEG of the labels, and include a JPEG of each mockup. You're going to also include a multi-page PDF of each medium for the printer, and I'll give you more details on that when the time comes. And then you're also going to make sure that you use terminology from the elements and principles during your presentation and when we give each other feedback, and that your assignment is uploaded by the due date, which is October 3rd here. Okay, so, and then everything else, here's the rubric. So you're going to be making the same album just in two separate mediums. So you don't have to come up with two separate designs for the cover necessarily. They just might be different dimensions. Obviously, if you have a cassette tape, which is a rectangular shape packaging, versus a record, which, when it's closed, a gatefold record is closed, it's going to be a square shape, right? Let's go ahead and look at the module for this week. collapse these. We are already a quarter through the semester. How great is that? So, all right. So this is just the intro here. It says by the time you're done, you'll have basically your record completed. All right, so here is a refresher on the different design stages. Go ahead and read through this at your leisure. Just talking about some of the things we've already done and some of the things we'll be doing for this project and future projects. Next is the 12-inch record specs and instructions. So this is going to give you a little rundown of what a gatefold album is. It's essentially a record cover that opens like a book. So you're not just making one square record cover, you're making a rectangular layout like a 2-page brochure kind of style. And then, so from there, you're going to have your cover, the back cover, and then what the inside looks like. Along with that, and here's a template. So you can just download this template, place it in Illustrator or Photoshop or InDesign to work from. All right, next up is your, this is a sleeve that the record goes in. So the sleeve is the paper part that's between the record and the cardboard cover, right? So on this album here, this is called Songs in the Attic by Billy Joel. He had a full color sleeve, which a lot of times you just see a plain white sleeve. So that was pretty cool for the, like a nice little surprise for the fans to open that up. And he had photos from performances on both sides. But so I'm giving you the option that you can have something like this. It doesn't have to be full color either. It can be black and white, whatever you'd like to do. If you're making a punk album, you might want to do black and white because funds might have been limited to press that record, so they weren't going to go with like a full color press. So just something to keep in mind. And then let's see. A lot of bands will put their lyrics directly on this sleeve here. And then sometimes you'll see a sleeve that has a hole cut out in the center so that you can see this label here through it. So I've included down here a template for a sleeve with the hole, a template for a sleeve without the hole. And then this right here is a lyrics insert. So this lyrics insert is also pretty crazy because it opens like a brochure. Usually a lyric insert is just a 1-page square sheet, and then they will print on the front and the back. It usually doesn't open like this one. So he really gave the fans a real treat. So his is like a brochure as well. So right now I have just for you a template for just a 1-page insert sheet. If you want to turn that into 2 pages, you can do that definitely, but it's not mandatory. It did give him a lot of room to play and add some fun extra photos to the layout. So next we have the vinyl label. As you can see, the record company's logo is very big, very prominent, right? And then the artist's name is usually written pretty, minimally. It's a little bit bigger than the album name itself, but it doesn't take precedence like that logo does up there. And then it has the names of the songs on the one side. You have a side 1 or a side A listed there. And you also have a little bit of trademark, like copyright information down here and some production information, some like a serial number, that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind while you're laying out your record label. Right here is a template for it that you can use. And then don't forget to do both sides, right? What to include. So on all of these designs, the outside cover, the lyric insert and or sleeve, and the record album itself, you're going to make sure that you include your band title, your album title, your 12 songs, the list of them, the record company logo, and the production info. And then on the lyric sheet, obviously, you'll include the lyrics as well. And the lyrics can be placeholder text. Don't worry about making lyrics for every single song. A trick that I do like to do when I'm inserting placeholder text is change maybe the first 3 or 4 words though, so it doesn't say Lorem Ipsum everywhere. It kind of looks more like it is the beginning of something else. So if you want to play with that, you can. I recommend it. It's just a little bit less distracting than just seeing Lorem Ipsum all over the place, right? So here's some more design inspiration. This is Michael Jackson's Thriller, and it is the cover art is the art direction is Tony Lane and Nancy Donald, and then the photo was taken by Dick Zimmerman. So this is a gatefold, and this is what the front cover looked like, the back cover, the LP itself, and then the lyrics were on the sleeve. This is the inside cover with him and a tiger. And then here's a close up of both sides of the lyric sleeve, I should say, not the lyric insert. It's the actual sleeve that the record went in, and the A and B sides of the labels. And then this is a close up of the illustrations, so I added this so that, you can play with illustrations. And I think that you can find a more clever way to insert those illustrations as well than just a square in the middle. But, it's a nice grid, I guess. That'll work. But, pay attention to using columns. That's a big thing on all of these lyric sheets. And then there's also some of these full color photo discs as well that are collectibles. And so you can do something like that if you'd like to. Then here is the Rolling Stones album called Some Girls. This was a really fun album. I actually have this one myself because I love the die cuts. And this is the sleeve down here. So the sleeve doesn't have the lyrics on it. It has photos of all the members of the bands. And then also they used some celebrity photos like Marilyn Monroe and some other people, but the designer didn't ask for permission. And so they had to stop press and then change it. And so this album has been through 15 different variations because of that. So that's a good lesson to learn, right? But when you slide the sleeve out, you can kind of play with it with these die cuts here. And then they also had a colored vinyl, which I love. So you can play with some color combinations there if you'd like to. And then you can just do that by, changing your blending modes and opacities and things like that on a vinyl record for your mock-up, okay? And then here's some of the different variations of the record of the album design. Very fun. So I can't wait to see what you do. So just for this first round, on Monday, you're going to submit for your check-in. I want to see sketches in your notebooks, in your sketchbooks of your layouts. And I recommend making a square, like an 8x8 square for your cover. If you want to do, these albums all had, let me scroll back up for you. So on the outside, these albums both had the front look different than the back. But if you'd like the outside to bleed all the way across like a spread, you're totally welcome to do that. That's always a fun effect. So if you want to lay your gatefold out like that, then I recommend doing like two 5x5 squares next to each other in your sketchbook, and then drawing across the two and making that for both the outside and the inside. And I want you to use your sketchbooks because that's where you're going to solve all of your composition problems, okay? You're going to find the solutions in the sketching, as well as then you can kind of block out the text a bit, all the things that you do when you're figuring out your composition. And you can even, use some colored pencils and things to work out any kind of color balance and color composition issues as well. So I just like to work as much as I can sketching, even though I don't consider myself that great at drawing anymore. It's more like a brain exercise, like all of these brain dumps that we got to do and the mind mapping and stuff. Just the more work you do outside of the computer with with a pencil to paper, the better results you're going to get, I promise. Okay. And then from there, so you'll take some pictures of those and upload them for me. And then I want to see the progress that you have of your digital layout. So it doesn't have to be 100% done by Monday, but the more done it is, then the more feedback I can give you to apply to your second medium, the second music medium that you'll be creating. So I would love it if it was like really, really close to done when you send it in on Monday. Like I don't need to see the mock-up necessarily. I just want to see like all the flat JPEG exports of the stuff. So let me know if you have any questions. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Your logos are fantastic. Your presentations were so good. So I'm really looking forward to what you come up with next.